Are you serious? My voice echoed through the upscale restaurant, cutting through the soft hum of conversations. Every head turned in our direction, but I didn't care. My heart was pounding, my fists clenched, and my vision blurred with rage. There she was, my wife, Emily, sitting at a corner table by the window, her hand resting in the palm of another man. She looked up, her eyes wide with shock, but there was no remorse, no guilt, just a cold, calculating stare that made my blood boil. The man beside her, tall, impeccably dressed with a smug grin, leaned back in his chair, as if daring me to make a scene. And I did. While I was working day and night, killing myself to give you everything. This is what you do. I slammed my hand on the table, causing the wine glasses to tremble. The restaurant fell silent, the clinking of cutlery replaced by hushed whispers. Emily didn't flinch. Instead, she tilted her head, her lips curling into a bitter smile. "Oh, please, Daniel," she said, her voice dripping with disdain. "Did you really think this was about love? You were just a means to an end." Her words hit me like a punch to the gut. I stared at her, trying to process what she had just said. The woman I had spent 5 years with, the woman I had given everything to, was now looking at me like I was nothing. "You never loved me?" I asked, my voice breaking. She laughed, a cold, hollow sound. "Love? Don't be naive. You were a paycheck, Daniel. A way to get the life I wanted. Did you really think I cared about your late nights, your stress, your sacrifices? I needed the estate, the money, the status, and you gave it to me. Until now." The man beside her smirked, clearly enjoying the show. "Looks like the jig is up, huh?" he said, his tone mocking. I wanted to scream, to throw something, to make them both feel even a fraction of the pain I was feeling. But instead, I stood there, frozen as the reality of her words sank in. Everything, our marriage, our life together, had been a lie. The restaurant was one of those places Emily had always loved. Fancy, exclusive, with a view of the city skyline. I had taken her there countless times, celebrating anniversaries, promotions, and milestones. Now it felt like a cruel joke. The soft jazz music playing in the background, the crystal chandeliers, the waiters in their crisp uniforms, it all seemed to mock me. I remember the first time I brought her here. She had been so excited, her eyes sparkling as she looked around the room. "This is the life I want, Daniel," she had said, squeezing my hand. "A life where we don't have to worry about anything. Where we can have it all." And I had believed her. I had believed in us. The man, her lover, finally stood up, brushing imaginary dust off his tailored suit. "Well, this has been fun," he said, his tone casual, as if he hadn't just helped destroy my life. "But I think it's time for me to go. Emily, call me when you're done cleaning up this mess." He walked away, leaving me alone with her. The silence between us was deafening. "You're really not sorry, are you?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. She shrugged, picking up her wine glass and taking a slow sip. "Sorry for what? For finally being honest? For taking what I deserved? You were so busy playing the hero, working yourself to the bone, that you never stopped to ask what I really wanted. And now you know." Her words cut deeper than any knife. I had given her everything. My time, my energy, my love. And in return, she had used me. As I stood there, surrounded by the opulence of the restaurant, I felt something inside me snap. The pain, the anger, the betrayal. It all crystallized into one clear thought. She would pay for this. I leaned in close, my voice low and steady. "You think you've won, Emily? You think you can just walk away with everything? You're wrong. You'll regret this. I'll make sure of it." For the first time, I saw a flicker of doubt in her eyes. But it was too late. The game was over, and I was done playing by her rules. I turned and walked out of the restaurant, the whispers of the other diners following me. The cool Chicago air hit my face as I stepped outside, but I barely felt it. My mind was already racing, planning my next move. She had taken everything from me. Now it was my turn to take it all back. The days after the restaurant incident were a blur. I couldn't sleep, couldn't eat, couldn't think straight. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her face. Emily's cold, calculating smile, as she told me she had never loved me. Her words echoed in my mind, a constant reminder of how blind I had been. But as the initial shock wore off, something else took its place, a burning, relentless anger. I wasn't just hurt, I was furious. She had used me, manipulated me, and now she thought she could walk away with everything. The life we had built together, the money, the status. It was all supposed to be hers. But I wasn't going to let that happen. I was a lawyer, after all. I knew how to fight. And this time, I wasn't fighting for justice or for a client. I was fighting for myself. It started with the jewelry. Emily had always loved expensive things. Diamonds, gold, designer pieces. She had a collection that could rival a small boutique. I had bought her every single piece, each one a symbol of my love and dedication. Now, they were symbols of her betrayal. I waited until she left the house, our house, the one I had bought for us, and then I went to work. I knew where she kept everything: the diamond earrings in the top drawer of her vanity, the gold bracelet in the safe, the Rolex watch she'd loved to show off at parties. I took it all, every last piece, and locked it away in a safety deposit box. When she came home that evening, she noticed immediately. "Where's my jewelry?" she demanded, her voice sharp. I looked up from the legal documents I was reviewing, a case I had been working on before my world fell apart, and met her gaze. "Gone," I said simply. "What do you mean gone?" "I mean it's no longer yours," I replied, my tone calm but firm. "I paid for it, every single piece. And since you've made it clear that our marriage was nothing but a transaction, I'm reclaiming what's mine." For a moment, she just stared at me, her eyes wide with disbelief. Then she laughed, a bitter, mocking sound. "You're really going to do this, Daniel? You're going to stoop this low?" "Low?" I repeated, raising an eyebrow. "You're the one who cheated on me, Emily. You're the one who admitted you never loved me. So don't talk to me about low." She opened her mouth to argue, but I cut her off. And this is just the beginning. Next was the car. Emily had always wanted a Mercedes-Benz G-Class. It was her dream car, and I had surprised her with it on our 3rd anniversary. She had cried tears of joy, or so I thought at the time. Now I realized those tears were just part of the act. I called the dealership and arranged to have the car repossessed. When they showed up at the house to take it away, Emily was furious. "You can't do this!" she screamed, storming out of the house as the tow truck driver hooked up the car. "I already did," I said, standing in the doorway with my arms crossed. "The car is in my name, Emily, just like everything else in this house." She turned to me, her eyes blazing with anger. "You're really going to leave me with nothing?" "You left me with nothing," I shot back. "You took my trust, my love, and you threw it away. Now you're going to learn what it feels like to have nothing." I didn't stop there. Over the next few days, I systematically took back everything I had given her. The designer clothes, the handbags, the shoes, I packed them all up and donated them to charity. The artwork we had chosen together, the furniture she had picked out, the expensive china she loved to use for dinner parties, it all went into storage. By the end of the week, the house was almost empty. The walls were bare, the closets were empty, and the rooms echoed with a hollow silence. Emily tried to fight back, of course. She threatened to call her lawyer, to take me to court, to ruin my reputation. But she didn't have a leg to stand on. I had made sure of that. The final blow came when I filed for divorce. I had spent years building my career as a lawyer, and I knew how to protect my assets. The prenuptial agreement we had signed, something Emily had reluctantly agreed to at the time, was ironclad. She wouldn't get a dime of my money, not a single share of my investments, not even the house. When I handed her the divorce papers, she looked at me with a mixture of anger and desperation. "You're really going to do this?" she asked, her voice trembling. "After everything we've been through?" "There is no we, Emily," I said coldly. "There never was. You made sure of that." She tried to apologize then, to tell me she had made a mistake, that she still cared about me. But it was too late. I had seen the truth, and there was no going back. When the divorce was finalized, Emily was left with nothing. No jewelry, no car, no designer clothes, no money. just the suitcase of belongings she had brought with her when we first met. I watched her leave the house that day, her shoulders slumped, her face pale. For a moment I felt a pang of guilt, but then I remembered her words in the restaurant, the coldness in her eyes, the way she had laughed at my pain. She had made her choice, and now she would live with the consequences. As for me, I was done. Done with her, done with the lies, done with the pain. I had taken back what was mine, and now it was time to move on. But deep down, I knew this wasn't the end. Emily wasn't the type to give up easily, and neither was I. The divorce was final. Emily was gone, and the house felt emptier than ever. The walls, once adorned with expensive art and family photos, were now bare. The closets, once filled with designer clothes and accessories, were hollow. Even the air felt different, lighter yet heavier at the same time. I should have felt relief, closure, but instead, there was a lingering tension, a sense that this wasn't truly over. Emily had left with nothing but a suitcase of old belongings, the same ones she had brought into our marriage 5 years ago. She had tried to fight the divorce, to contest the prenuptial agreement, but it was airtight. I had made sure of that. Still, I couldn't shake the feeling that she wasn't done. She wasn't the type to walk away quietly. It started with a phone call. I was at the office, buried in paperwork, when my assistant buzzed me. "Mr. Carter, there's a woman on the line for you. She says it's urgent." I frowned. I wasn't expecting any calls. "Who is it?" She didn't give her name. I hesitated, then picked up the phone. "This is Daniel Carter." Daniel. Her voice was soft, trembling, but I recognized it immediately. "Emily, what do you want?" I asked, my tone cold. I need to talk to you," she said. Please, it's important." I almost hung up. I should have hung up. But something in her voice stopped me. "Talk." There was a long pause, and then she said the words I never expected to hear. "I'm sorry." Against my better judgment, I agreed to meet her. We met at a small cafe, the kind of place we never would have gone to together. It was quiet, unassuming, a far cry from the upscale restaurants she loved. She was already there when I arrived, sitting at a corner table with a cup of coffee in front of her. She looked different, smaller, almost fragile. Her hair was pulled back into a messy ponytail, and she wasn't wearing any makeup. It was the first time I had seen her look anything less than perfect. "Daniel," she said as I sat down. Her voice was shaky and her hands trembled as she wrapped them around her coffee cup. "Thank you for coming." "What do you want, Emily?" I asked, cutting straight to the point. She took a deep breath, her eyes filling with tears. "I made a mistake," she said. "A huge mistake. I was selfish and greedy, and I hurt you. I don't expect you to forgive me, but I just needed you to know that I'm sorry." I stared at her, trying to process what she was saying. This wasn't the Emily I knew. The Emily I knew was cold, calculating, unapologetic. This version of her, vulnerable, remorseful, was unfamiliar. "Why now?" I asked. "Why are you saying this now?" She looked down at her coffee, her tears spilling over. "Because I have nothing left," she whispered. "No money, no friends, no place to live. I've been staying in a motel, but I can't even afford that anymore. I don't know what to do." For a moment, I felt a pang of sympathy. But then I remembered the restaurant, the way she had laughed at me, the way she had admitted she never loved me. "You made your bed, Emily," I said, my voice hard. "Now you have to lie in it." She looked up at me, her eyes pleading. "I know I don't deserve your help," she said. "But there's something you need to know. Something I should have told you a long time ago." I frowned. "What are you talking about?" She hesitated, then reached into her bag and pulled out a folded piece of paper. She slid it across the table to me. "What's this?" I asked, not touching it. "Just read it," she said. I unfolded the paper and scanned the contents. It was a bank statement. Her bank statement. And the numbers on it made my blood run cold. "What the hell is this?" I demanded, looking up at her. She took a deep breath. "I've been stealing from you," she admitted, "for years. Small amounts at first, but then more. I thought you'd never notice. I thought I could get away with it." I stared at her, my mind racing. The numbers on the statement were staggering. Hundreds of thousands of dollars, gone. Why? I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. Because I was scared, she said. Scared that one day you'd wake up and realize I wasn't good enough for you. Scared that you'd leave me with nothing. So I took what I could, while I could. I felt a surge of anger, but it was tempered by something else. Pity. She had been so consumed by her own insecurities, her own greed, that she had destroyed everything. I didn't know what to say. Part of me wanted to walk away, to leave her to deal with the mess she had created. But another part of me, the part that had once loved her, couldn't let her sink completely. I'll help you, I said finally. But not because I forgive you, not because I want to, but because I'm not like you, Emily. I'm not cruel. She looked up at me, her eyes wide with surprise. You'll help me? I'll give you enough money to get back on your feet, I said. But that's it. No more. And I never want to see you again. She nodded, tears streaming down her face. Thank you, she whispered. I transferred the money to her account the next day. It was a fraction of what she had stolen, but it was enough to give her a fresh start. After that, I blocked her number, deleted her from my life, and moved on. The house still felt empty, but it was a different kind of emptiness now. It wasn't filled with anger or pain, but with the quiet peace of closure. Emily had taken so much from me, my trust, my love, my money. But in the end, she had also given me something, the realization that I deserved better. And as I sat in the quiet of my empty house, I knew that I would find it.